What is on Raider Nation? It is JT with another episode of the Raider Cast. We have some breaking news. The Raider roster is now technically at 79 with the moves that we made in the recently. So to go over today, specifically today, officially Kenyan Drake is officially released. Obviously, I have an episode from yesterday that talked about how it was revealed last night that they're planning on moving on from him. However, they still had a time to possibly trade him, but unsurprisingly, no one wanted to take on his absolutely atrocious contract. We also have Chris Jones, and not the Kansas City Chris Jones, the corner Chris Jones, being cut as well. They also waived Chris Lacy. I'm not an expert. I'm never going to claim to be, so I don't know the difference really. But they also waived / injured, according to their website, Cre'von LeBlanc, who hasn't been at practice since I didn't even know he was injured. I never noticed he was gone, which is kind of mean to say, but I didn't. But the other two moves that we had this week were that we traded Nick Mullins and we put Jordan Jenkins on IR. So those are the moves that we made this week. They're right here. Right here. But yeah, Kenyan Drake, obviously we knew yesterday. Chris Jones is not surprising. He had a decent game against the Jaguars in the Hall of Fame game, but after that, he looked atrocious. Chris Lacy was... I couldn't even find a picture of him in the Raiders jersey, so that just goes to show how impactful he was on the roster. I found some pictures of Cre'von LeBlanc, but he was really only present during like the OTAs, I believe, at the start of the offseason. And then after that, it looked like he got injured, and so they waived him with an injury settlement, so that probably means they paid him a certain amount of money, but they released him of the rest of his contract. So that means that we actually have a lot of our CBs gone now. We have a lot more figured out of where our CB room is, and our running back room, as I talked about yesterday, is pretty much solidified. Just got to figure out where Britton Brown ends up. We also have since Nick Mullins is traded, we also have our quarterback rooms figured out. We have obviously Derek Carr QB1. You have Jarrett Stidham definitely at QB2, and then probably the practice squad will be Chase Garbers after next week's cuts. And then the CB room, you have Rock Ya-Sin, Anthony Everett, Trayvon Mullen, you have Nate Hobbs, you have Darius Phillips, Amik Robertson, and Sam Webb. I think those are like the important ones, and it looks like we'll probably have maybe 5, maybe 6. But obviously those first 5 that I mentioned are like the guaranteed. And then actually no, not Amik. I think I mentioned Amik somewhere over here. Amik might be cut next week. That's actually my bold prediction for next week, is that Amik gets cut. However, I'll talk about that in my preseason show later on this week. But yeah, not a lot of shocking moves. I already talked about Kenyan Drake. We always talk about the other moves. Cre'von LeBlanc isn't shocking, nor is it concerning for me because I didn't see him making the roster anyway, so it didn't really matter that he got cut. The other news that I have that you saw, I'm sure, is that J.C. Jackson was hurt. So that was definitely an interesting thing. He had surgery today on his ankle, so that means he's out for 2 to 4 weeks or something like that. I think starting today or like the start of the season, 2 to 4 weeks, so they had to put him, I don't know. But all I know is he's missing week 1. So that's important. He also might miss the Kansas City game, but I think Maxi misses our game for sure. But what that means, and I hope he has a speedy recovery and all that, he's a great player, but Adam's going to feast. He's going to go off on the Chargers on week 1. I can already see it now. Like 150 plus yards, definitely 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's just going to go off. They don't really have anyone in their roster that can really cover him, as well as JC would have been able to. Even JC would have struggled. But yeah, that's all the news that I have to report today. Tomorrow I'll definitely be talking more about the Patriots camp. I'll probably do more of a general summary tomorrow of the 2 days. Although today looked like a very good day, especially from Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. But once again, I'll talk about more about that tomorrow. So on that note, definitely subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you never miss an upload, because I'll be starting to do more daily uploads, especially with the news coming out a lot, and try to do more daily news updates and stuff like that for you guys. And I did my Retro Bowl earlier, so definitely go check that out. And then later on this week, I should have another RaiderCast episode. I won't be streaming the game Friday, unfortunately. I have a previous commitment that I forgot about until I was reminded of it yesterday. So I'm unable to do the game, but it kind of makes sense also because I won't have access to it. I didn't buy NFL Plus because I don't feel like giving them money for a shitty product. So I wouldn't have been able to really watch the game unless I tried to do legal streaming from a website. So that makes sense why I can't really stream it. But during the regular season, I won't have any problem because I have Sunday Ticket. So that'll be taken care of. But I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, Raider Nation.